Hello, folks, and welcome to part 8. It is time to finally put decals on this flat car. Now, I got my decals from Connie Miracle at Miracle Graphics down in Georgia. Placed the order. Within about 2 weeks, it was on my front porch, and for $60 shipped, you really can't beat having this decal set printed out. And of course, you can customize it. You can have whatever car number you want put in a decal set, such as my car number here, the 474265. The reason why I chose this car number is I was able to find a picture of the actual car from back in the 1950s so that I could get these decals as accurate as possible. Now, the decal kit came with a handful of spares, and some of those I will not be using. If you were to use all of the lettering that came in the kit, there would be lettering all over this car, and honestly, I don't think that would look so hot. So, what I'm doing here is a little bit of compromise of making it look as realistic and as accurate as possible to the picture of the car that I have, and along with the Pennsylvania Railroad's lettering diagrams for flat cars. And their standards changed over the years. So you may see one car number and multiple different photos, and you'll see the decals in slightly different positions or text heights or layouts or what have you. And largely that's just in part because their standards changed, like I said, over the years. So now I have already done the other side of the car and very well. It was actually surprisingly easy. So after doing one length of the car and one of the short ends, I am now an expert on the matter, and I'll share with you what I have found out with doing that. Now, on this flat car body, one of the advantages here is that none of the text will have to go over a rivet head. This text and some of the details, it's very small and much smaller than the size of the rivet heads. And any of the cars that I've seen that have text or any small detailed graphics going over a rivet head, it's usually starting to lift after a period of time. Now, the vinyl in the decals is flexible. If you have a large sheet of vinyl, it's possible to get that over a rivet head. But this small text, it's just, I don't think it's worth it. It'll end up failing after a period of time. So let's go ahead and get into it. I'll show you a couple of these smaller graphics here on the end. We've got the length, 49 feet, 5 for half a foot, not 5 inches, and the lettering for the wheel type. That'll go on the side right here, is making sure I've mirrored what I've already done on the other side. Now, one of the most important things to do here is to make sure your surface is prepped and as clean as possible. So we're using a bit of, in this case, rubbing alcohol. The instructions specify denatured alcohol. I don't have any in stock, and the other thing with this car is it's a brand new paint. I've given it time to cure. It's been painted for a handful of weeks. So the paint is cured. It's not tender. I don't have to worry about scratching it or damaging the paint. That is one of the other parts in the instructions that you do have to follow, is make sure that your paint is good and cured before you try to do this. And also, with it being new paint, this car has never been waxed. It's never been outside in the rain. It's never been outside, period. It's never been, well, outside of paint. It's never been out in the dirt or anything. So this surface is already pretty clean. There's not grease or wax or anything that we need to be concerned about removing prior to installing the lettering or graphics, whichever one you like to call it. I've gone ahead and trimmed all these that they are a close fit. This will go nice in the center. If you notice, got set of 3 letters, 2 in the middle. So the center is just between that S and T. This will get a line between those 2 rivets, roughly right about there. Go ahead and wipe that off again. I had good luck on the other side, so let's see if I can continue that while the camera's rolling. Now, before I apply these, the metal's a little bit cold, and you want to have the metal temperature roughly above 60 degrees Fahrenheit. So I'm going to go ahead and use my heat gun, warm up to the surface to where it's just lukewarm. Now that surface is just barely warm. In fact, I'd just say that it's no longer cool to the touch. So now that our decal is ready, we can go ahead and prep the spot. And I should probably find where I set my scissors at. They're on this side of the table, because I will need those. So this has a transfer tape on the top that's clear and then a blue backing. So we're going to go ahead and peel off that blue backing. Now sometimes it helps to press the lettering down, so it helps make it stick to the transfer tape. And there we go, it started to peel. I'm going to peel slowly all the way back. I want to make sure the letters stick to the transfer tape and not the blue background. Now again, I said that ST is going to go right in the middle between those rivet heads. We're going to make sure we're nice and level. There, I think I can live with that. Now we're going to press from the center out to the edge, center, out to the edge. Alright, and now that's on the side of the car. The next step is you want to press the letters down to make sure the glue is adhering to the side of the car. Now the glue on the back of the letters will set up over time, but we're going to go ahead and take this squeegee or plastic sheet that was provided with the decal set and just use the corner and press down on the white lettering material. And we're not pressing down too hard here. I mean, look at the size on the lettering on the right side of that W. If you press down too hard, since this is vinyl, it is somewhat flexible, and you can actually distort the lettering if you press too hard. So you just want to go over it nice and easy. And to do this car, it is a time-consuming process. Well, for whatever reason, the camera shut off, but let's keep going at this. So I've got the next decal on for the length. Now, before I take the transfer tape off, I'm going to put a little bit more heat on it. That helps the transfer tape release from the letters. And again, just warm to the touch. And I'm going to pull that tape back at a hard 180-degree angle, making sure it does not lift any of the letters or numbers. Perfect. Now there may be a little bit of glue residue, which is the case, and it should just wipe right off. So there we go. Well, it's the same general process for all of the decals and numbers on the car. So I think I'll get back to you when I get to doing the long Pennsylvania decal that goes down the center, because this one's probably the trickiest to do. Now, if you take a look at this decal here, you'll notice that the transfer tape is not sticking to the backing. There's a bit of a gap here. Reason being that this was folded over, well, not creased, but folded over on itself inside the box when it was shipped to me. If you try to install this decal with that gap there, and there's another one down here by my thumb, it's most likely you will get a wrinkle in the text, the lettering, or the graphic. So you want to get that out, and the way to do that, it's quite simple. We're going to start in the center of the graphic and just take our card and work to the side. Just a little bit at a time, not pressing too hard. You won't get all of that bubble out at once, but the goal is not to crease it or damage the vinyl beneath it. So we're just going to, and I started to crease it. So at this point, I'm going to have to decide whether or not I want to put this on a car, because I have a wrinkle here, I have a wrinkle there, there's one up here, there's one there. This side's not perfect, it's got a little wave to it. So, yeah, I don't think I want to put that on the car with that damage like that. I just put this much effort into the car at this point, and really this decal here is, I guess, where your money's at. That's the one where everyone's going to look at. And even though the reality of it is that no one is really going to see or notice that, I'm going to know about it, and it will drive me nuts. So, I think I will get in touch with Connie Miracle tomorrow and see what she has to say about it. I got in touch with Connie Miracle at Miracle Graphics and told her the situation I had going on here with this decal and how it was lifting and starting to wrinkle. And she sent me a new one for free, even though I told her that I was more than willing to pay for it. So, very happy to see that level of customer service in this day. So, let's go ahead and get this one applied. The paint is cleaned again with the rubbing alcohol and prepped. It's got a little bit of warmth to it. You're just slightly above room temperature. And I've got the decal stuck on just with some Scotch tape holding this end of the decal on. You notice this end is still loose. And so what I want to do here is go from the center, which just happens to be the center line of the A, and work out. And as I press that out, I'm looking at the spacing above and below the decal relative to the rivet heads, and I can tell that it is even. Now, down at the Railroad Museum, you can measure off the floor to your decal all that you want and try to get it even, and you can take a step back and look at it and it still looks crooked. So sometimes the best way to do this is just by eye within reason. So now that this side is stuck on, and I think I've got it where I want it, and this should turn out good and match the other side, what I'm going to begin to do here is peel the transfer tape off of the backing. Maybe, there it goes. And just be careful that all the lettering stays to the transfer tape as it is. Then I'm going to come in here with a pair of scissors and cut that backing off. Now this will stick, and I want to be careful, and I'm just going to run down it with even pressure to get it to stick to the car nice and straight. There, now that end is on and stuck. I'll have to come back with the plastic card here and make sure it's pushed down. But at this point, I can remove the tape holding the other end carefully. And of course, put this tape somewhere where it will probably end up on the floor and stuck to my shoes. And now the left end of the graphic is floating. So we're going to do the same thing over here and remove the backing. Of course, this side's much easier to remove. Just be careful that the lettering does not stick to the backing. putting very little force on this. I'm just letting it kind of work off on its own, and you don't want to completely let go of it and have it stick to the car outside of my control. So now that I've got it in hand, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to keep an eye on the spacing in between the white line and the rivet heads and just kind of make sure that it stays even as I work it down. And that spacing was starting to creep up a little bit, so pressing down on the top first, I was able to get it to curve down a touch just to keep that spacing even. And at this point I can come back at it with the squeegee or plastic card. I keep wanting to call this thing a squeegee. And make sure everything is pressed down. So I'll come back to you when this is over with. Alright, so it's all pressed down and it's time to remove the transfer tape. I suppose I can get rid of the center line tape too. There, that's off the deck. See if I can get the transfer tape off. And there you have it.